wild animals. No more hesitating. We're legends in the making. Gravity escaping, light speed breaking. Let's get elevated. Let's get elevated. One for the morning, a two for the show. So buckle up, there's no telling where we're gonna go. A glory and fame, a silver and gold. So call us outlaws and leave the fortune for the bold. No more hesitating. We're legends in the making. Gravity escaping, light speed breaking. Let's get elevated. Let's get elevated. Oh yeah. A 5-4, a 2-2-1. We're gonna fly. We're headed straight for the sun. 5-4, a 3-2-1. We're gonna fly straight for the sun. No more hesitating. We're legends in the making. Gravity escaping, light speed breaking. Let's get elevated. Let's get elevated. Let's get elevated. Let's get elevated. It's explosive. You can't control this, no. I got metal running through my bones. A resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield. A survivor, never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked. No victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's 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 explosive.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Looking to the inside of Turner, trying to make it 3 wide down the back straightaway, nearly does.
Last night the track was very slick. You know, we had 2 good grooves.
But anyway, just another some of that.
There's people in the stands. That means there's people watching.
Welcome to tonight's broadcast coverage of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fix Series live on LSRTV and CRN. iRacing ready to go on this Wednesday night in mid-October. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. I'm Wesley Outland. Charles Wooten, of course, is running our board, and Jason Rockefeller joins me alongside. The Northwest Round of 8 playoffs for the CLICKIT RV Fix Setup Series is on deck. 7/8 Mile Iowa Speedway is the venue. And Jason, this is a track where, honestly, and I say this kind of referring back to the truck race a couple of weeks ago here in Iowa, you could see a long green flag run. You could see green and caution flags. You might see 3-4 wide racing here. It might be single file. You just got to know whatever the mindset is of these drivers in these virtual rigs, what they want to do at Iowa Speedway tonight. How you doing, my friend?
First off, I'm doing really good. I'm ready to go here tonight at Iowa Speedway. I absolutely love this track. Definitely one of my favorites when it comes to the NASCAR side of things. And we're coming back, baby, next year. I'm so excited. Right. I cannot wait. And the Cup Series will be coming here for the first time in its series history. So excited. But, hey, start of the round of 8 tonight here for the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fix Series. This is going to be fun. These cars like to slip and slide around a lot all night long, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Multi-groove racing. You have progressive banking all the way around the racetrack, and this is going to drive just like a short track, but also like Richmond as well. It's going to be fun.
It is. It's going to be very exciting to watch. Of course, yes, after many, many years, decades of ARCA and the NASCAR Xfinity or the Truck Series being at Iowa Speedway, finally the Cup Series has got the nod for 2024. Oh, and might I say, the open-wheel IndyCar races are always exciting at Iowa Speedway when they run their doubleheader weekend. I was talking with Mark Janes about that on Finish Line, a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, whenever we had him on to recap the 2023 season. But tonight is where we are, and here's another deal. Dan West Jr., 4 wins on the year. This man has been explosive. Obviously, another driver in the midst of Team LSRTV has got hot as of lately, and that, Jason, is Sean Brightsman.
Yeah, Sean Brightsman has won the last 2 races in a row, Richmond and then Homestead last week. And he's a guy who, at the start of this season, we circled on all of our, our lineup sheets and whatnot, or the roster sheets rather. And he really performed, for most of the season. He got that win at Homestead earlier in the year, got another win at Mid-Ohio, was able to hold off Paul Newton, other drivers as well. And obviously now he locked himself into the round of 8. Back at Richmond, came through, said, nah, I'm going to do it again. Won Homestead, took any chance that some of those guys that were outside looking into the next round of the playoffs took from him. And I think he's definitely going to be somebody who could probably compete with DWJ for sure for this championship.
Let's go ahead real quickly and go to on-track activity. And while we do that, let's show you the point standings as they are right now into race number 1 of a round of 8, as the round of 12 finale was last week at Homestead, Miami. And there you see the interval. Man, 1 point separates Sean Brightsman from Paul Newton. Jason, 3 points separate Tyler King from Sean Brightsman, and Dan West Jr. is now in a dogfight himself with Chris White, Ryan Gormley, those drivers, even Ryan Bloom, Jeff Stabnow, anybody from 4th on back behind the top 3. If they have a good run, they got a chance to climb to make the championship for it at Auto Club.
Yeah, obviously the points get reset after every single round ends, and that's exactly what has happened to us. And you just look at the point difference all the way from Sean Brightsman down to Jeff Stabnow. It is no more than 17 points, and that is huge if you're a driver like Jeff Stabnow. You want to make sure that obviously you come in here tonight, you want to make sure that you have a great night. The same goes for Ryan Bloom, Ryan Gormley, Chris White. These are the 8 best drivers we've had all season, and we're about to see why they're the 8 best drivers, but we're going to take that 8 and narrow it down here into 4 here after these next 3 weeks with Iowa tonight, Kentucky, and then Las Vegas the following 2 weeks. It's going to be exciting for sure.
It certainly will. Let's take a look real quickly at the race analysis for tonight's event here at the Iowa Speedway, 7/8 of a mile. 1 fat repair, 1 fast repair. Hey, you know what? Let's elaborate on the word fat, because honestly, Jason, it will be fat if you need to use a fat repair very, very quickly in the starting of this race.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. There he goes. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, Wesley. I don't know what you're talking about. Bro's going on about fat for some reason. I don't know why. I see fast repair. He's crazy. But yeah, that's going to obviously be huge. And you know something too, Wesley, with these 8 drivers that are going to be contending for these next 3 weeks, 1 fast repair is huge. You make 1 mistake, you wreck. You only get that 1 chance. And it's like saying, oh, here's another token to go back into the claw machine. And that's exactly what you're doing. You take that loss, you turn it into a win with that 1 fast repair, but you only got 1 more chance to go out there and try to actually make a standpoint for yourself if you're one of those drivers in this round of 8.
By the way, want to welcome HuntTheFront.tv as our race information sponsor. Don't forget this Thursday through Sunday, I want to say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Hunt the Front TV has coverage of the 49th running of the Alabama National 100, the Fall Crown Super Late Model Classic in the South. I've had the privilege to announce that for about 5 years, and then when football and scheduling and everything changed, it's just too damn far to drive down to Phoenix City, Alabama. But Melanie and all them, Melanie and Richard Davidson are operating that track since Billy Thomas, and they're doing a great job. $49,000 to win for the Dirt Super Late Models in the final race for the Hunt the Front Super Series, and you can check out every lap of the action on Hunt the Front TV with Joe Kelly, Michael Patton, and my buddy Travis Scott on the call this weekend in Alabama. Hunt the Front TV, our new race information sponsor. Let's give a shout out to our buddy and Kaufman Creative, our webmaster, and Brandon Kaufman at Kaufman Creative. Here is a look at the weather conditions. air temp at 65, wind speed comfortable at 1, track temp 3 degrees warmer than the air temp. Obviously, Jason, perfect race conditions in the virtual sim at Iowa tonight.
Absolutely, Wesley. But these guys, regardless, are still going to be slipping and sliding, and tire wear is going to be a factor. But you would think to yourself, they're going to be slipping and sliding because of the heat on the racetrack. No, sir. They're going to be slipping and sliding all over this racetrack because of how old this surface is here at the Iowa Speedway. This track is just like a cheese grater, like Larry McReynolds used to say up in the Fox Sports booth. He would say that about Atlanta Motor Speedway. You could say the exact same thing here about Iowa Speedway here on this just less than a mile D-shaped oval racetrack. This track is abrasive. This surface is very, very bumpy, and it's going to make these guys slip and slide, and it is going to eat up those Goodyear tires like a buffet.
Oh, yeah, 12 to 14 degrees, progressive banking, kind of like Homestead or Auto Club or Michigan, like we always refer to. Front stretch at 10 degrees, back stretch at 4 degrees, all at the .875. It's 7/8 of a mile of this racetrack here at the D-shaped Iowa Speedway. Should be a good one. And again, this is the opening race in the round of 8. On to Kentucky, another similar racetrack in configuration, 1.5 miles. Las Vegas, another 1.5 miles. But here's the thing, Jason, for those 3 races to be in the round of 8 playoffs to determine the championship 4, and let's emphasize on this, my friend, Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., any of these guys in the round of 8 points, they win tonight, you punch your ticket in to the championship 4 finale if you're one of those playoff drivers in the chase on November the 15th for the championship race at Auto Club. And again, you could literally go in to this race and not worry about the next 2 weeks of the round of 8.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Wesley. Obviously, you win here tonight. The next 2 weekends are just for fun here for you. And then you focus all on that championship race, obviously. That is going to be so interesting to see. And we've seen it time and time again. It just happened to Christopher Bell this past Sunday at Homestead. He thought that obviously he thought Vegas was going to be his best shot to win. Finished second to Larson, comes through, has a terrible first half of the run at Homestead, wins that race. Now he doesn't have to worry about Martinsville. Larson, he hasn't had to worry about Homestead or Martinsville, even though the team wanted to.
Right.
But they're really focused on that Phoenix race. And if you win here tonight, you are at a huge advantage over the other 3 competitors that will be joining you in that Final 4 if you are a playoff driver that wins here tonight, because you're going to get more time and more time and more time to work on your racecraft for the championship race at Auto Club.
And to segue that's why it really didn't mean a lot when Kyle Larson was avoiding Ryan Blaney on the pit lane and crashed into those, if you will, barrels entering pit road with all that stage rise. So, because he is already in the championship 4. Oh, and by the way, for our series, look at a guy like Dennis Moore. He's done exactly the same thing. He's won 2 races in a row. Let's go lineup racing for Iowa Speedway. The first race in the round of 8 of the starting lineup goes like this. 2-time Truck Series champion Dan West Jr., the man that's been on a tear since Labor Day in this series. He's on the pole. Ryan Gormley, the prodigy in that 22 Toyota on the outside, row 1. Row 2, Ryan Bloom in the 25 machine. That driver, of course, ready to roll alongside Dan Lowther. Ryan Bloom, by the way, number 8 on the bubble. Toby Ritter's understanding he's not been feeling the best under the weather, but feeling better to get in the car tonight. Toby Ritter's obviously missed the playoffs in the round of 8. He just wants to win, as well as Troy Daggett, 99. Row 4, Christopher White, the number 5 seed, putting all of his cards in the basket on Wednesday instead of Monday, a former Cup Series champion. And Tyler King, defending Truck Series champion, number 4 in the playoffs. He'll start 8th. Starting 9th, Sean Brightsman, winner the last 2 races for Team LSRTV. He'll start in the number 9 spot, 2nd in the playoffs. And Kevin Smith alongside for the ride, looking for a win. There's your top 10.
Rest of the running order. Row number 6, Joshua Marcy, the 35, alongside him with Jeff Stabnow there in the 24 LSRTV machine. Row number 7, Seth Frazier, Stephen Paulison in the 58 machine. row number 8. Inside, Gary Nichols. Outside is Carl Burke in the 53 machine. Next row, Brett Johnson, the legend Frank Harris there in the 11 machine. Row 10, Paul Newton, James Vining, Catman 333 machine. Row number 11, Scott Hutchinson, Stephen Bartlett, and that's your starting lineup there for tonight's race.
And it looks like James Vining and Scott Hutchinson, though attempting to make the race, are a scratch. And I want to send on behalf of our entire LSRTV CRN broadcast crew, our condolences, thoughts, and prayers continuously to the Vining family, especially James, on the passing of his father. A wealth of emotion. He is in our thoughts and prayers. The entire family are of dealing with the loss of his dad, and obviously I know he wanted to try to get in here and try to run, but obviously family is important, and he's definitely in our thoughts and prayers for sure, in our iRacing family, no doubt. 175 laps. The distances, you see Dan West Jr., Ryan Gormley, a Chevrolet Toyota on the front row. A couple of Chevrolets in the top 5, including Bloom, Lowther, Ritters, Daggett, a Ford and Tyler King, a Chevrolet and Chris White. And then it's a Toyota for Brightsman and a Chevrolet for Kevin Smith. The round of 8, race 1, Iowa Speedway. The playoffs are green. It's underway, and obviously Dan West Jr. gets the jump on Ryan Gormley, and we've already got trouble. Caution on the speedway. Paulison, Smith scampering up to the top of the safer barrier in turn number 1 and 2. Some other cars starting to pull away, Jason, and under yellow on lap 1.
Yeah, it was all heading down to turn 1. More than likely, if I had to guess, Wesley, somebody probably got loose. Cold tires here at Iowa Speedway is so huge here. Once you head into turn 1 at a high rate of speed, we're going to take a look here from the angle of Kevin Smith, and you're going to see coming down into turn 1 right here. And oh no, actually he just comes right down in front of the 24. Backed up his entry a little bit earlier than I think Jeff Stabnow thought he was going to, and the 00 just comes right down in front of that 24 machine. And remember, Jeff Stabnow, one of those playoff drivers in the 8th seed, might have some damage to that right front on that 24 machine.
And by the way, we use that word jokingly when we showed the front TV race analysis. They're glad they got a fat repair, especially in the early going of this when that fast repair is available. Kevin Smith again coming down on the right front of Stabnow. Obviously, I believe that Jeff Stabnow is going to get checked out, but definitely Kevin Smith going to have to take on a new fast repair. There it is, that fat repair in the early going to get him back in the race. There's a lose-lose in this, Jason. You use that fast repair in the beginning of this race, man, you got to pray and keep your fingers, legs, eyes crossed that you do not get caught up in any other wreck since then.
Yeah, you're praying for everything that's holy that you don't get involved in another wreck, obviously. And with something like that happening on lap 1 for Kevin Smith, who has been running exceptionally well recently, hasn't exactly gotten the luck that I probably think he deserves, obviously, and that definitely wasn't good luck for him entering turn number 1. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up, and now that he's already used that one fast repair here, Wesley, he's going to have to be more careful than what he was at the initial start of that race.
Caution out in the early going to this one. And obviously, drivers taking fast repairs, first caution. Hey, by the way, real quickly, since it's happened fast, the caution summary, race summary, presented by Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care, call before you dig. Iowa tonight, 1 caution already, 3 caution laps, no lead changes. Dan West Jr. right now the man leading the way, and obviously he is not been able to be amongst any competition, Jason, since the drop of the green. I mean, Dan West Jr. poked out in front. We had trouble in turn 1.
Yeah, and I think that Dan's going to be very, very strong here tonight. And remember, he's one of those guys, once we came back from that summer break,
right after Labor Day. He came out of the gate and was absolutely flying, earned 4 wins since the comeback, and it has been absolutely insane for the driver of the number 55 LSRTV Camaro. I think that he has what it takes to definitely make it to this Final Four here, but he's going to have to go through these next 3 weeks. If he doesn't win tonight, he's got Kentucky the next week. If he doesn't win Kentucky, he's got Vegas, but he has to keep on using that consistency and doing a good job like he's been here since we came back from that break.
Yeah, all this going on right now is, of course, Dan West Jr. be ready to hit the throttle, bring him back to full song as it wraps up our first caution in the early going of tonight's race. Some more caution laps than green flag laps tallied as they make their way back to the Geico restart zone. Pace car scampers onto the pit lane from the Cavalry. Green flag goes back in the air. Dan West Jr. quickly on the hole shot down into turn 1 on the green.
And Gormley's going to try to use that outside middle lane on Ryan Bloom off turn number 2. He's going to clear him here by about a car length and a half down the back straightaway. You see that would be the 63 of Dan Lowther. He's trying to work to the inside of Toby Ritters as they battle for 4th across the line.
Working their way to the stripe now at full song. Put a lap on the board now in green flag mode. Give it to Dan West Jr. Gormley in second. Now Ritters. Ritters, that's a battle for 4th. He's under pressure from Dan Lowther. Daggett's in that mix. They stay to the outside. Now they power back to the bottom, especially Chris White looking inside 3 wide out of 4.
Chris White in the special number 47 Halloween machine, throwing it back to the colleague racing Halloween scheme from Martinsville a couple years ago. Here he is working to the inside. He's got to the 63s left for a quarter panel, but off turn number 2, just not enough. Still trying to use that bottom progressive banking to his advantage as they come off for a little loose off the corn.
We mentioned sometimes 2, 3, 4 wide. It can happen. It happened very, very quickly. But don't be denied or underestimate this racetrack. Chew you up and spit you out if you make a mistake. The safer barrier jumps out at you as you work off the 10 degrees off the back stretch, back into the straightaway now, back to 4 degrees on the front stretch as they work off 4.
Oh, and Troy Daggett a little bit loose there in the back coming off turn number 4. He was able to gather it back up, and Chris White starting to kind of fall behind Dan Lowther and Toby Ritters, but now Lowther a little tight through the center of the corner. He's going to be side by side now with Ritters entering 3 and 4 as Ritters gets to the back bumper of Ryan Bloom as they exit turn 4.
Watching how they circle back to the corner, down to the line. There's Lowther. Look on the inside. It's Toby Ritters. Clifford looking to make a run on Lowther. Looking to go after Ryan Bloom. This is going on, but heavy traffic in the mist off of turn 2.
You see Ritters trying to head down to this inside yet again. The sun's starting to set in the Iowa horizon there. Off turn number 4. Oh, he contacts! Oh! Ritters is around. Spins through the infield. He's able to save it. Keeps it going, but that is a crucial incident for the 23 of Ritters early in this race.
Chris White got into Ritters. Clifford spinning into the infield grass. He'll at least fall all the way back into the top 15. Here's a replay. What happened? Chris White, purple machine. Maybe Dan Lowther, no, Chris White. Down the back stretch. This is where it happened here, Jason. You saw it all unfold, and a tough break for Toby Ritters.
Yeah, the 47's just coming
Ritters,
down. Wow. I think he came up a little bit there, Wesley.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I know you were going to say that White came down. I think Ritters might have actually been the culprit of that.
Yeah, it looked like exiting turn 4, the 47 was just trying to stay away from the wall. Came down a little bit, but Ritters was just coming up so fast. I don't think he even knew that the 47 was still going to be there. Unfortunately, makes contact. Doesn't look like there's too much damage to the clip with the big red dog machine of Toby Ritters. Believe he's going to be able to keep going, but that was a lot of track position loss. 11 spots for Toby Ritters.
Well, you remember what I told you about when you come off that 14 degrees of bank and onto the 10 degrees of the front straightaway, and the wall wants to pop up at you, Jason, here at Iowa Speedway. That's one of the things that I find very unique about this racetrack, especially if you're riding up on the middle lane and you jump up to try to make a move on a car, that safer barrier pops up at you, especially working off turn 4 and entering turn number 2 to the back straightaway.
Yeah, and for two tracks that are totally different within shape, size, racing product, everything above. You think about this track almost like a Dover with the wall popping out at you off the corner. As you go to Dover, off turn number 2, the safer barrier pops right at you. What is Miles going to do? He's going to eat you up if you just hit that outside wall. The same goes for heading off turn number 4, and the same can be said here, especially heading off turn number 2. It comes out quicker than you think, and the same goes for the exit of 4 here as well.
Dan Lowther, a little Incan Blinken nod down to the bottom of the racetrack as he makes his run on Chris White, the purple number 47, for third. Meanwhile, Dan West Jr. opens up to about a 3/4 second lead over Ryan Gormley, but Gormley is closing in. He's right there within the cat's whisker as they work in 3.
And Gormley absolutely ripping that top side, thinking we were back at Homestead this weekend. Tries to get the outside momentum off board, not enough. He'll fall about 2-3 car lengths behind the DWJ machine. Now he'll work down to the bottom as Dan West Jr. pulls a diamond effect. Gormley a little loose off turn number 2. Closes in a little bit, not enough there. Here he goes to the inside in 3.
Dan West Jr. under attack from the rear camera on board with that Chevrolet. Here comes that Toyota, Ryan Gormley. By the way, Ryan Gormley this year, he is one of those drivers in his rookie year to make the playoffs. How about this, Jason? He is number 6 seed. Ryan Gormley, 1 win. Remember that wild one? It was at Charlotte back in May.
Yeah, and obviously Ryan Gormley has been very fast this season. Got that win earlier in the year, and he has an opportunity here to pick up yet another win, and it would be awesome to see that number 22 go to victory lane. And remember, he wins here tonight. Obviously, he advances to the Final 4. And Ryan Gormley is not a guy I honestly, Wesley, have in my Final 4. As you see the 53 coming into the pits this time, Carl Burt, slow on the racetrack.
Problems for Carl Burke. His Chevrolet Camaro issues, retires. First one out. Carl Burke out on lap number 21. By the way, you see all the drivers that Jason Rockefeller mentioned that are in the round of 8 playoffs. Why are they all in blue and not green or red? Because this is the opening round. Blue light wants to become green light for one of those playoff drivers, Jason, to advance to the Championship 4 at Auto Club in mid-November.
DWJ looks like he could be in the catbird seat to have that blue banner turn into a green one when we head to Kentucky. Dan Lowther up and into the wall in 3 and 4. Comes off the safer barrier, though. Gets side by side with Jeff Stabnow as they exit 4 back down into 1 and 2. Stabnow is going to wrap the bottom right on that seam as Lowther heads up to the outside of the racetrack again off turn number 2.
Stabnow under attack up the outside lane. Almost climbs the safer barrier. Dan Lowther down to the bottom, and we're going to go double box here. But by the way, for the Ritters family, here's a look at what happened to Kobe Ritters. Maybe we can show it to you one more time from Ritters coming off the back stretch and how it entered. Here you go. Here is what happened about lap 15. Watch again. Ritters and Chris White, I think they're going to make another lap around here. Your racing is on the top. The replay is on the bottom. Live action on the top with Baggett, Bloom, Lowther going at it. And now this is the replay between Ritters and White. And Jason, here you go again. Ritters just climbed the banking, nowhere to go, and bonside off the driver door of the 47. What a save for both cars, but no caution.
Yeah, what a save there for Toby Ritters for sure. Just a racing incident, no harm, no foul. 23 came up a little bit more than he should have. 47 came slightly down a bit, but really you can fault the Ritters car more than the 47. But again, just a racing incident. He keeps it going.
Toby Withers has gained a spot since where he was residing after that incident. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up, though. He's all the way back to 15th, 10 spots back from where he started earlier.
By the way, don't forget you can follow us at LSRTV on Facebook and Instagram at CRN Sports as well. And all of our races are now broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, as well as replay, as well as archives on the Community Radio Network and all of our podcast outlets as well. Just put in iRacing or CRN Northwest, whatever you want to put in, we'll find it. Because right now, Ryan Blue, Seth Frazier, they're going at it. This is for 7th and 8th. Brightsman on the outside looking in as they go into 1.
And the 25 machine trying to wrap the outside. You see Sean Brightsman a little bit loose off turn number 2 there. Looked like he was going to head right to the outside wall, backed out of it, got a little loosey-goosey exiting 2. Now he's going to try to power back down to the bottom to get a run on the Seth Frazier machine. Not enough. They're going to stay single file as Brightsman is in tow right behind the Frazier machine, entering 1.
Dan West Jr., Ryan Gormley, Chris White, Jeff Stabnow, Troy Daggett with a run for the 99. The top 5. There's Sean Brightsman, the man that's won 2 back-to-back wins. He wants to go for a hat trick and put himself in the championship 4. A former Cup Series champion of the Northwest. Did it back in 2020. Right now, he battles Frazier for 9th as they work their way in the corner.
Working back down into the corner, you see Frazier trying to close back in on that 25 machine like he was before, just not enough. But the 46 machine of Sean Brightsman starting to close in slowly but surely, still single file there, all while the battling's going on for 7. Dan West Jr. still out by about 0.4 of a second over Ryan Gormley, but Gormley starting to close in just a little bit, a couple hundredths faster than that 55 last time around.
On board, Sean Brightsman trying to run down the 1.5 Studio Chevrolet of Seth Frazier. And Frazier now in 8th. Kind of a dismal year for Seth Frazier. Of course, Seth Frazier, no wins, 1 top 5, 5 top 10s in his 14th start tonight on the series. Right now, Sean Brightsman continuing to try to carry on that momentum of being the man that's won the last 2 races. Obviously, he won at Richmond. He won at Homestead. He joined his teammate Dan West Jr., the Indianapolis winner, to make it into the championship or the top round of 8. What I meant to say. But then you got a guy like Sean Brightsman, Jason, that turned around last week and went on to win, carrying on that momentum of winning from Richmond at Homestead, just like Dennis Moore did for the Northwest Cup Series on Monday night with 2 wins in a row.
Yeah, lots of guys been doing really good. Obviously, Dennis Moore, he won that race on Monday night. He's been super fast. I think that Sean Brightsman probably has an opportunity here to go 3 in a row, but we're going to have to see. You see the Frazier machine gets really tight entering 3 and 4. He's going to try to wrap that top side, get a little bit of a big run on this 25 and 63. Sean Brightsman, though, trying to get around these 3 drivers as they hold him up in front.
About 2 weeks ago was the round of 8 playoffs for the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV. And it started at Iowa, and Dennis Moore won that race. Now we got some contact, boy oh boy, on board with Seth Frazier. Him and Ryan Bloom having a do-si-do coming off of turn 4. Brightsman pokes into the bottom.
Brightsman down to the inside here on Frazier, entering 1 and 2. And he's going to get that spot, trying to go to the bottom now of Ryan Bloom in that bomb speed Chevy Camaro into turns 3 and 4. Brightsman wrapping the bottom, the 25 right on that top seam as Brightsman tries to pull the diamond effect off turns 3 and 4. Not enough. Bloom gets him that time at the line.
Brightsman, bottom of the racetrack. He's got King up on the outside. Frazier will follow. Oh, a little wiggle there as they work off the back straightaway. That's 4 degrees of banking. And then they climb 14 degrees of banking back into turn number 3 and 4. 10 degrees of banking as they work through the D-shaped 7/8 mile. Brightsman on the bottom. Bloom will follow Frazier. This is the best battle on the racetrack. 7, 8, 9, 10. going at it as they work off of turn number 2, Jason. Oh, Smith getting loose, dirt tracks it, saves it off turn 2.
Heck of a save there by him off the corner. Great job there as you see the battling continuing there as Kevin Smith able to reclaim right where he was despite getting loose. Great save by the driver of the 00 machine while he watches all this hectic battling right up in front of him.
Top 5 just getting started on lap number 40 when they come to the line. Dan West Jr., Ryan Gormley, Christopher White, Jeff Stabnow, and Troy Daggett, your top 5. We are approaching the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification radio-wise on CRN, the Community Radio Network, and the playoffs in the round of 8 for the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fix Series.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Opening race in the round of 8. The winner of tonight's race, if they're one of the 8 drivers in the championship round of 8, can advance to the championship 4. Jason Rockefeller, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten in the production box, presented by CLICKIT RV and Hunt the Front TV. This race going on 43 laps when they come to the line, and Jason, it's been a dandy with this battle continuing in the top 10.
Yeah, this battle's been really hectic so far here as they head off turn number 2. Oh, contact! Tyler King sideways. He's going to save it off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. That could have ended the 21's chances of going to the final 4 potentially, even with that one faster pair that he has still. That could have been a big moment for the 21.
What a save by King. Oh, Frazier! Oh, no! He turned it! They wrecked each other! Trouble in turn number 2! Frazier, King deliberately crashed one another into the wall! There is no words to describe it but that! Frazier, King retaliate, and they wreck each other going into turn number 2. Caution out for the second time. Wow.
I don't know what to say right now. We're gonna have to take a look at this real quick.
I'm having a loss for words, Jason. I mean, there's no other word to describe what we just saw. Frazier slowed down, pulled up in front of the left front, and Tyler King did not lift. I'm sorry, they're both at fault. I mean, in my opinion, if you wanted to be, that was ridiculous. They both took each other out of that, Jason. Wow.
I don't know if that was on purpose per se, but if you watch this one more time here, Wesley, the 2 and the 21 get hooked up together in a very odd way. You're going to watch this 2 here. He's going to slap the racetrack. Then it's like he almost can't get off that 21. The wheels are pointed straight. I don't know if maybe there was some kind of connection issue between the 2 of them. I just can't see the 21 deliberately running into the back of the 2 and the 2 just abruptly slowing down like that in the middle of the corner. I think something had to have happened to one of those guys.
Jason, we thought the save of the road race by Clifford Toby Ritters, who, by the way, still racing under the weather, was crazy, diving in the grass to keep us from going under caution after contact with, of course, Tyler King. Look at what just happened. With Chris White. Look at how close he was to getting caught up in this accident and missing it in the 23. Wow. On board with him. This all happens in front of him.
Yeah, you're going to watch him here coming off turn number 2. This incident is right up there. You can see the cars side by side. That's Tyler King and Seth Frazier. All of a sudden, now this number 23 machine is going to have a brown pants moment. He's going to be slowing up. Whoa, there's Tyler King. He just barely avoids him. And what a job by Toby Ritters to basically, not in a sense thread the needle, but just get through barely unscathed.
Pit road opened. Anybody gonna pit? They have. They already did. Lap 45 they pitted when we were showing you the replay. Let's go side by side. Actually, we're gonna go to a full screen break. We're back in a moment. This is coverage of the round of 8 Northwest CLICKIT RV playoffs. So it's getting good. Full moon over Iowa, baby. And we're back in a moment.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Welcome back to coverage. Pace car ready to drop onto the pit lane. We're ready for the restart of the Geico restart zone. 2 cautions in the opening 50 laps. We're back to it again with Dan West Jr. quickly on the jump. Gormley under attack by Chris White. Here comes Stab now. Daggett, they're wrecking it. Trouble. Oh, Daggett and Brightsman. Bloom is wrecked. Johnson wrecked. There's a couple of your playoff contenders in trouble, Jason. My, oh my! Brightsman has crashed the number 2 seed, and number 8 seed Ryan Bloom also involved. Wow!
Holy cow! Holy cow! Coming off to the 99 of Troy Daggett. I don't know if he got hit, but just from the angle, it looked like he overcorrected big time and just hellaciously hit that number 46 machine. You see. Oh, so this is 2 incidents. The 25 gets loose, the 99 gets loose, and wow, right into the wall in front of the 46. Brett Johnson is back there. He gets involved. So this Wesley, is 2 separate instances. I want to see if we can take a look at this 25 machine, because you know what started this all, Wesley, is cold tires. We talked about it earlier on. After that lap 1 incident, cold tires is what sets him off with having no grip into turn 1 here. That's what triggered this for the 25 and the 99.
All tore up. Brightsman, Daggett, Bloom, 7 of Johnson. There you see Brightsman just glancing off of Brightsman's car. T-boned in was Johnson. Into Bloom. Marcy piles in. Man, oh man, right here. Contact there with Johnson. That's what caused the front clip to come off the car. And Jason, I can't emphasize this enough. Sean Brightsman, the man that's won 2 races in a row. Obviously, Ryan Bloom, number 2, number 8 seed. This is not what you want to see playoff contenders have happening, especially when they're on the cusp of making it to the championship 4.
No, definitely not, obviously. And that's a huge, huge deal here for 2 of the 8 of our playoff guys. And that is not obviously what you want to see, just like we said. And if you think about it, Wesley, that is now 3 drivers in our playoffs here tonight who have been involved in some sort of incident here. Jeff Stabnow, lap 1, the contact obviously into turn 1 with him. You had that, and now obviously you had Tyler King before, but I mean technically 4 if you really want to think about it. I mean, then you had Ryan Bloom, very, very interesting, and then Sean Brightsman, heartbreaker, number 1 seed coming into tonight. But they have that 1 fast repair, so their races aren't over. It's just going to be very, very difficult for them to get back towards the front.
Well, all right. What is this now? The 3rd caution, I believe, as well.
Oh, yeah.
And still Dan West Jr. up in front. So, Jason, you had obviously drivers in the beginning of the race that had to take fast repairs, like Kevin Smith, who, by the way, is not in the championship round of 8. But guys like Brightsman and Bloom, can they, you know, right now limp, if you will, until another time to pit and then take a fast repair? Do you have to fix your car right now?
No, I think personally, Wes, that the 46 and the 25 were just way too heavily damaged. They had fenders, they had damage all over, all taken off, torn off that race car of theirs. You had to have taken that fast repair. There was nothing more to it. I mean, the 46 of Sean Brightsman clobbered the 99. The 25 got clobbered by the 35 and the 7. There was no doubt that they probably took a faster pair right there. But now they have to drive a little bit more cautiously now that they've taken that one faster pair.
By the way, being told by Seth Frazier that netcode is what caused that incident between, of course, Frazier and Tyler King. Not intentional. He then said, don't be ridiculous in the broadcast chat. But what I will just say is, Jason, when that's happening on air and we're in play-by-play commentary mode, we just call what we see. And obviously going back and now looking at it from different angles and things on perspective, then we can say that basically that was not an intentional incident between, of course, Seth Frazier and Tyler King. Kind of looked that way, but they're both saying that they're all good. Nobody won another. So that's good. And we get ready to go back to green. Dan West Jr. with another flawless restart on the whole shot, Jason. Gone in the 55, but this time Gormley going to power back on the top shelf. Here comes White. Jeff Stabnow, first time we mentioned his name in the battle for third as they go into 3.
Look at this 22er, Ryan Gormley, though, for the race lead. Trying to use up the outside, got a little loose. Nearly brushes the wall through the center of 3 and 4. He's able to gather it back up while everybody races 2 by 2 behind him. Now make it just 2 by 1 as the 63 and the 23 get single file, while the 24 nearly brushes the wall off turn number 2.
Stab now down below the flat of the racetrack, working back up, climbing into the air of right now. Gormley uses that draft to close in and peel in behind Chris White. Tuck in front of him, in line. Now White goes to the bottom. This all goes on as their single file work to the backstretch. Jason opening 60 laps here at Iowa have not disappointed at all for the round of 8 opener in the playoffs.
Definitely not at all, Wesley. We've seen a lot of drama. We've seen a lot of side-by-side. Good racing and all. I mean, it's just been such a great race to say the least, and we still have almost nearly 110 laps to go, over 115 basically. This is a really, really good race, and it's just going to get better and better and better. My thing is, if it's going to be interesting to see, will we have long green flag runs, or will we keep having these medium length runs where we have a caution right when these guys need to pit? We'll have to see as this race goes on.
One of the things I want to check real quickly, if I can, let's check the weather conditions presented by Kaufman Creative Charles on the box in the bottom right monitor. And it really hasn't changed that much, Jason, except the wind speed. Is 4 miles per hour really that big of a difference from 1 mile per hour when we started?
No, not here, especially at a short track in a sense like this. You know, I mean, really, that could only become a factor probably at like Daytona, Talladega, Indianapolis especially. Those are some racetracks just where the wind speed is definitely going to affect you, especially in qualifying. But 4 miles an hour isn't really nearly that much of a difference to make something happen or you know, cause a reaction with the track and the drivers and the aerodynamics with the cars. So no, but you know, it is interesting to see. Obviously, this racetrack has not changed. It hasn't gotten cooler, but it hasn't gotten hotter. So with a cool track temp of 68 degrees, these guys are still slipping and sliding, but they definitely got some grip out there with obviously the sun going down.
60 laps into it. Let's give you the full field rundown right now with Dan West Jr. the leader, Ryan Gormley in second, Jeff Stabnow was third, Christopher White fourth, Dan Lowther in the top 5. Toby Ritters, amongst his chaos and mayhem on the start, has climbed his way back into the top 10. Feeling under the weather, but doing great in 6th. Ryan Bloom in 7th. Obviously 8th is Kevin Smith. You see him right there on the monitor. Paul Newton is 9th, and Tyler King, Jason, rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, and then you have the rest of the field. Gary Nichols back there. Sean Breitzman trying to come back in that number 46 machine. Just hasn't been able to do it just yet. Josh Marcy, Troy Daggett, who was involved in that wreck. Stephen Paulison, Brett Johnson, Frank Harris, Stephen Bartlett. And then you have the rest of the field. Seth Frazier, 15 laps down right now, out of the race car. Carl Burke, 43 laps down at 20th. And then James Vonning and Scott Hutchinson. They did not obviously start the race there in 21st and 22nd. But Wesley, talk about a comeback. Toby Ritter's, look at him, had all that track position, lost earlier due to that near spin off turn 4 earlier in this race. He's all the way back up to 6th, like you mentioned. So good recovery here for Clifford halfway through this race almost.
And Jeff Stabnow as well. Remember, Jeff Stabnow, number 7 seat on the outside, looking in by 3. He had some hiccups on the start, and he has moved his way into the top 5 in the 4th position. Ritter's in 6th. Christopher White up to 3rd. He sees the leaders in his sights as we approach lap 65 when they come back around. Darkness settling in. It's almost dusk and lights on virtually around Iowa, and this race continues. Here comes now Stabnow looking for 3rd on White in 3.
And he is going to easily clear him down the back into 3 and 4. But you see right off the hood cam, or rather the roof cam of the 47, you see that 22 is trying everything he can do to get around that 55. I think personally, Wesley, that Ryan Gormley is way better on entry, but he's not as good on exit as 55. Watch how much he closes up here heading through this corner. And then you're going to see this 55 just kind of start to dart away from him here off this corner. And I think Gormley's just trying to put the power down a little too early right now.
Thanks to everybody that's watching, whether you're checking us out on LSRTV, Facebook, or YouTube, listening on the Community Radio Network. And right now, Dan West Jr. under attack by the prodigy. Here comes Ryan Gormley. How important is it for the number 22? If he wins this race, Jason, 2nd win of the year since Charlotte back in May, and the rookie year driver will move in to the championship 4 if he gets a win tonight in Iowa. But Dan West Jr. says, no way, I'm going to get the spot back, and that's a veteran move in the double nickel.
Yeah, and I honestly thought that the 22 was going to be able to clear him down into 3 a lap ago. But the 55 just had a way better 3 and 4 as Ryan Gormley got really loose off 4, remained side by side, and that's why you see this 55 here start to get away. I think that Dan is, just, like I said, a lot better up the corners. He's not wiggling around as much as the 22 machine is, and I think that's the 22's biggest flaw right now. He's putting down the power, I think, a little too much and a little too early. If he could just control that throttle response time that he's doing right now, I think he has a shot to get back to 55 and probably get around it, because I do think he is just a little bit faster, but he needs to use that skill on exit.
Dennis Moore, winner at Kentucky, by the way, on Monday night. Jason was on the call with me for that race. And Dennis Moore for the Northwest Truck Series has already punched his ticket in to the championship 4 Finale Auto Club. No matter what happens the rest of the way, tonight the same could be done for Sean Reitzman or any of these drivers that are in the playoffs. And I mentioned Sean Reitzman because obviously he's won 2 wins in a row. Dan West Jr., Jason, remember, he won at Indianapolis in the round of 12 opener to secure easily a round of 8 win. All this going on for the driver that literally has had a phenomenal season this year. Dan West Jr., especially after Labor Day. 4 wins, tied with Sean Reitzman with 9 top 5s and 12 top 10s, and the 55 is leading the Cavalry heading to lap 75 here at Iowa.
And the 46, Sean Reitzman, starting to make his way up through the field slowly but surely. He's all the way back there in 11th, trying to work on the 3rd seed coming tonight of Tyler King. Then you see Paul Newton in the Paul Newton's design machine there. That Ford Mustang right up in front of them. Those are all the 1, 2, and 3 seeds right here, just on the brink of the top 10 with the 27, 21, and 46. And they have to race each other very carefully here, Wesley, because they don't want to make an incident that could be caused. The next thing you know, they're going to have bad blood or whatever, and you don't want that heading into these next 2 races. And obviously, you want to have a good night here tonight. 46 has already been in 1 mishap. 21 nearly was at one point. And Paul Newton doesn't want to add one to his resume here tonight.
Less than 15 laps to go to the halfway mark of this race. Things finally calming down, if you will. Let's take a look quickly at the Virginia811.com Dig with care, caution, race summary. 3 cautions, no lead changes, even after pit stops, Jason. Dan West Jr. has been, if you will, the Pied Piper here in the virtual cornfields of Iowa tonight in the opening 100 laps remaining here. In the opening 75 laps, it's been all 55.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me that Dan West Jr. has led every single one of these 76 laps that we've had completed so far. He's been so fast, but like I said, Wesley, we just have not seen that long run yet. We've seen the medium runs, the medium length runs rather, and then we have a yellow flag. What does the 22 have on the long run? We've seen that he's been able to stay and keep pace with the 55, but he hasn't had the long run opportunity to see if he can get to that 55. That's what I'm most interested to see here for this lead.
Ryan Gormley right within a cat's whisker of running down Dan West Jr. He's got the rear end of that 55 in his sights on the front end of the 22, but the TRD 22 cannot reel in the West machine. Jeff Stabnow, the cavalry's coming. Team LSRTV puts Gormley in a LSRTV sandwich right now, 1 through 3, and here comes now Stabnow, peeking to the bottom. The LSRTV 4K Ultra HD Ford 24 trying to join Dan West Jr. in his 55 machine Chevrolet as they work on lap 80 next time by.
The 22 Ryan Gormley last time around, Wesley, was a half a tenth faster than the 55, and the same said for Jeff Stabnow, 4 hundredths faster than your race leader. So maybe Dan West Jr. starting to back it up just a little bit, or maybe he's starting to lose just a little bit of grip. Here's a good battle going on. Toby Ritter's holding up those 3 drivers in top seats in the playoffs right now. They're trying to get around Clifford, who's had a remarkable recovery so far, trying to hold him at bay. Gets a little loose off turn number 2. Tyler King nearly brushes the wall as they all go back down to the 3 and 4. Newton trying to work the bottom on Clifford, all 4.
That's that battle with Ritter's up on the outside, and of course Paul Newton, kind of a quiet night for the Paul Newton Designs Ford. Paul Newton trying to climb up into the top 10, or at least the top 5. He's battling here with this battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. King and Brightsman all in this cavalry. This is a battle for 8th through 11th, if you will, as we're working into turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, great battle between these 4 drivers. Like I just mentioned, you see the 46 of Brightsman. He's trying to get another position on the 21 of King as he gets loose entering 1 and 2. Opens up the door for the Brights Boutique Toyota Camry off the, or Toyota Supra rather, off turn number 2 there. And you see him working to the bottom as Paul Newton continuously tries to work on the 23 of Ritter's here off 4.
Dan West Jr., the leader. Ryan Gormley second, Jeff Stabnow third. They're separated by almost a second from first to third. Then you've got White, Lowther. This is Bloom. Ryan Bloom involved in that accident, remember, in the most recent caution with Johnson in 7 and others. And he just slams the barrier. He's in the wall. A couple of Wind Racing drivers make contact, and oh boy, Kevin Smith scampers away. Wow. Jason, there's that wall that we keep telling you about, man. It pokes up at you.
Yeah, and it definitely just came right up at the 25 as he brushed the wall off the corner, tried to get off of it, got loose trying to keep himself off the 00, but ultimately it just wasn't enough, and he hit that outside wall a ton. Here's our side-by-side replay. Top recent, or not recent rather, but live timing. And then the bottom is the replay. You're going to see this 25. Here he goes. Going to come up, get loose, up into the wall, tries to get it off, sees the 00, keeps losing it. And what a save by the 25 at 00. No yellow, but you got to think 25 heavy damage. Kevin Smith will have to see what kind of damage he has here. Remember, both those guys, they don't have faster pairs. So that is huge for the 25 of Ryan Bloom, since he just took one. And he came into tonight, obviously, 7th in the points. He needs a great night. That's not going to be a great night for him if something like that happens again.
No, it's not. What an interesting first half of the race it has been. tonight here at the virtual Iowa Speedway. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth. We are halfway home, 88 downs, 87 laps to go, and this is the LSRTV mid-race report. I'm Wesley Outland, Jason Rockefeller down below. Jason, this one has been highly entertaining tonight. Like I told you when we came on for the opening intro, you never know what you're going to expect here at the Iowa Speedway. Tonight has been a pretty crazy one. By the way, I do want to say publicly apologize. It was net code between Shed Frazier, Tyler King. When it all happens, we're caught up in the emotion of the moment. They're wrecking, they're crashing. This has been a pretty eventful show for you to watch out there in TV or radio land listening, Jason, for sure. Your take of it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Obviously, 90 laps up on the board right now. We have seen a lot of playoff drama, more than we've probably seen all season long since the playoffs started many weeks ago. And now it's getting to crunch time. You're going to have guys making more desperate moves, being more aggressive, knowing that for these 8 drivers remaining, they are the best of the best. They have to get it done. They have to maximize the points, the positions, the running hard, obviously work on their racecraft and everything like that. So it's very important that if you're a driver in this round 8 here tonight, you walk out of Iowa feeling stout, feeling proud, tough, strong, ready to go for these next 2 weeks. It's going to be interesting, and you can just see right now on the racetrack, we have a lot of side-by-side battling. 2 guys in the playoffs, or rather, 2 guys in the playoffs. They need good nights, and they're running really hard right now. That's what we've seen a majority of tonight.
Yeah, that's of course, number 6 seed and number 7 seed. Jeff Stabnow and Ryan Gormley battling for every position, every lap gain, every opportunity to climb, and Jeff Stabnow has now moved to the number 2 spot after getting around Ryan Gormley. And Jason, I think, are we going to see maybe the green flag run in the race now? Do you think things are calm?
I think things are calm, but they're not any calmer than what they were before. I think that we very well could see an incident. And here's the thing, too. You think back to Richmond, obviously, a couple of weeks ago. What's the one place that's similar to Richmond? Iowa. So it's going to be interesting to see if we have, obviously, those long green flag runs like we're seeing now. Green flag pit stops. You have old versus new tires. It could create some controversy, and it could really shake things up here in this race tonight.
Hectic chaos. Charles Wooten in the production chair in the CLICKIT RV studio in Texas. What's your take on what we're seeing tonight, brother?
Good racing, but that's not why I wanted to bring in. We didn't really address it at the beginning just because we wanted to get the racing started. We are having fun here tonight, but I have been reaching out to Sean Kimball up in Maine, where this mass shooting is going on. So far, everybody that we know from Maine seems to be okay, but we are keeping that in. So just a shout out to those people up there. I know right now they're saying 22 are dead from a bowling alley, a Walmart distribution center, and a bar. 30 are injured. So just keep those people up there. We do have friends up in Maine, so our thoughts and prayers are with those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Keep on praying for America. Keep on praying for our world, for sure. It's definitely in shambles today, and we hope that you're at least able to enjoy this 2-hour diversion that we're able to do weekly with the Northwest LSRTV and CRN to take your minds off of some things. Obviously, the Vining family, he lost his father. I know there was another member of the iRacing community that tragically passed, I think, the other day as well. Man, anybody that's hurting out there, we're praying for you. You're in our thoughts and prayers. And I think, honestly, we can go side by side with that as we'll get ready to go back to the action as we're halfway here at Iowa Speedway.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back with the finish of this race with 73 laps to go. Jason Rockefeller, I'm Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten, of course, in the production booth, and we got a caution. Yellow flag will fly just as fast as we came back from commercial, and we got a problem on the racetrack. We'll find out what happened. Johnson, Brett Johnson, already involved in an incident. From the rear end of the car gone, unless he got wrecked again, we'll see. Here's a look at a replay of what happened to the number 7. Brett Johnson keeping an eye on the 7 machine. Obviously, he didn't go for a fast repair yet. He turned into the back end of Marcy. Wow. So Joshua Marcy and Brett Johnson. Oh! Boy, hold on there, 39 Bartlett. Oh my.
I don't, listen, I'm no one to say something's on purpose, but I don't know if there was any intent of that. But, I mean, that was very odd to come into the corner like that, obviously get into his left rear. But we've seen, obviously, stranger things here tonight. No pun intended with Halloween coming up. But, you know, heartbreaker there. And also, by the way, when we were on that live, or we were on, I cannot speak. When we were on the LSRTV mid-race report, can report that the 23 of Toby Ritters, and I believe it was the 35 of Joshua Marcy, they made contact on the front straightaway off turn number 4, sent them both into the infield. I believe they all saved it because Toby was still right inside the top 15. And the same went for Joshua Marcy, so I don't believe that there was any damage to the 23 or 35 that I can see, but they did go around on the front straightaway before.
Jason, 70 to go, money stop, everybody coming to pit road. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say so, more than likely. Obviously, this track is under a mile in length. You can go a ways of distance on fuel, and obviously that was their final stop of the night for some of these guys. You know, they have, I believe it's 3 extra sets of tires, I believe, maybe 2. I'm not sure, but it is 3 from what I'm hearing. So if needed, they have 1 more set of tires. I believe, Wesley, that they can make it all the way, yes. That could have been the money stop, but I'm no mathematician, so I can't really tell you if they can make it or not. Like I said, I think they're good on fuel. Tires, though, that's another thing.
And remember, like the quote from the movie Days of Thunder, to Harry Hog, to Cole Trickle, tires are what wins races. Here's what you're referring to with Sean Brightsman and Toby Ritters, Jason.
I thought it was Josh Marcy.
Oh, no! And again, both of these cars spinning into the infield grass.
Oh, he saves it.
Wow.
He saved it again. He saved it again. Toby Ritters really here tonight, Wesley. He really came out here, heard us.
We get ready for green flag. It will be Dan West Jr. and Jeff Stabnow, number 1 and number 7 in the points. Alongside, ready to battle it out here. We get ready to turn them loose. 1 to go indication this time by Jason. We will get ready to go back racing here. Obviously, Ryan Gormley has showed strengths in the front. So did Chris White. Jeff, obviously, Kevin Smith, he was a strong car until earlier when he got involved in an incident. He's rallied his way back into the top 5. And Jason, here you go. Now you've got Dan West Jr., Jeff Stabnow, you know, Sean Brightsman. They've all talked about, well, we need to bring our teammates into the fold. Well, guess what? There's no other round left to go except the championship 4. Dan West Jr. wants it. Jeff Stabnow wants it. You know he does. You're going to do whatever you can to win to go to Auto Club for a championship, teammates or not.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see, obviously. Now that Jeff Stabnow got by the 22 on that last green flag run, kept the track position, exiting the pits, what will he have for the 55 here on the restart?
Back inside the Geico restart zone, green flag, and just like the previous handful of times, another flawless restart for DWJ. Jeff Stabnow, though, up the outside. Ryan Gormley powers to the bottom. He goes to second around Stabnow to 3.
And he tries to work in that top side here into 3 and 4. White for 24 and 47 do. Chris White loose in the back there behind the 24. Nearly loses it off turn 4. He's able to save it. He gets side by side, though, with the Walla Walla, Washington native of Kevin Smith, exiting turn 2 this time.
Dirt tracks in just a moment. Smith into 3. White up the hill. Stabnow up the hill. They battle. They stay connected to the top side of the safer barrier. And Dan Lowther now closing in as Smith has to get behind White's machine. He gives a punt. White does to Stabnow as they get antsy off of 2.
Oh, and Lowther into the wall there off turn number 2. He's able to keep it straight, though, right in front of Paul Newton as everybody battles all the way around this racetrack. Chris White finally clear of the 00. Down Lowther again into the wall off turn number 4. Everything's starting to kind of simmer down as the 47 of Chris White looks to try to make a move on Stabnow entering 3.
Chris White on board with a 47 for 2022 Northwest Cup Series champion. On the outside looking in, here he comes. Making a move on Stabnow. Stabnow up to the top of the safer barrier. They're going to be side by side as they climb the 14 degrees of banking into 3.
And Stabnow holding a pretty wheel up on that top side right now, able to keep it away from Chris White with that 3rd spot. He's going to clear him down into the 1 and 2, but White trying to utilize that bottom, diamonds the bottom a little bit off the corner, gets a tad bit loose. Him and Stabnow make contact right in front of Kevin Smith, entering turns 3 and 4. Smith tries to go to the middle. Not enough, though. They're still side by side off 4.
What a save. Stabnow under attack by White and Smith, and somehow holds them off. And not done yet, Jason. They're going to go back again. Smith on the inside. Stabnow up top as they work in 3.
And the 00 trying to throw a slider for a second. Realized he wasn't going to be clear. He'll fall back into the clutches now of Chris White, entering 1 and 2. 24 bottom, 00 middle, 47 top as they go single file back down the back straightaway, entering 3 and 4 this time.
Kevin Smith inside. There goes Stabnow up the hill. Stabnow climbs. Little loose. Stabnow working to fight that loose car. And here he goes into 3, trying to run down West and Gormley, but oh my goodness, Jason, here comes Smith. Kevin Smith reeling him right back in again with those slipping issues on the 24. Kevin Smith is gaining on this, so we got a battle for the lead into one.
And Gormley tried to go to the inside there. Diamond off the corner. He's pushing so hard. I think, Wesley, that Gormley knows if he doesn't get by him on the short run, he's never going to get past him on the long run. That's why he's pushing as hard as he can. But I still urge for him to maybe try to not get back to the throttle so early and so hard. All the corners is really hurting his forward drive on the exit of the corners here. But he's got a fast car. We'll see if he can just run down DWJ and try to get to this bottom here and make a move.
Lap 120. 175 the distance, and boy oh boy, man, what an exciting race for sure. And not done yet. So impressed with everything that's gone on here, Jason. No doubt about it. And boy, Dan West Jr., amongst all this that's gone on, he is still being the cat's pajamas, if you will, to hold on to this top spot.
And you see Dan West trying to hold on to that top spot. Ryan Gormley, though, still trying to take a stab at him. No pun intended, with Jeff Stabnow trying to close in there in that third spot. But this 22 trying every single line around the racetrack, loses a lot of ground there on the exit of turn number 2 to the 55. And now, Wesley, guess we're finally seeing here tonight, the lights all the way around the racetrack fully lit up. The sun has fully gone down now, and the moon is full here, like you said, at the virtual, or not Miami rather, but Iowa Speedway. Different from the cornfields to the beaches of Miami.
Good one for sure. Good one. And not done yet. What'd you say, corner there? Oh my, lucky with the closet. I have no comment. My. Best battle on the racetrack, there it is. Toby Ritters, Ryan Bloom. This is going on for 11. Here, kitty, down to 1.
And here comes Clifford, the big red dog, trying to chase that 25 of Ryan Bloom. That's the battle going on for 11th. Ritter's right in tow behind Ryan Bloom. Just not able to get the run that he wants off these quarters, with them running the same line entering the corner.
Lowther, Newton, side by side. This is for 6th. King watching it. Blows it in on under 50 laps to go, Jason. Sean Brightsman back in that battle again as well.
Yeah, and he's obviously trying to maximize all the points he can earn here tonight with the incidents that he's had. A lot of guys have really had. A lot of our playoff drivers, obviously. You think back, Ryan Bloom, he's had incidents. Tyler King, nearly an incident. The only ones who haven't really been involved in anything have been Paul Newton and Chris White. As I say that, Paul Newton really loose off turn number 40. He's loose again. On down the front straightaway, nearly make contact with Dan Lowther, heading down into turn number 1. So interesting that the Paul Newton machine trying to not add himself. Oh, and Brightsman into the wall off turn number 2 there. Able to save it, but hard contact for the 46 machine.
Sean Brightsman. Unless a miracle happens, not going to be a hat-trick moment for the driver out of Tucson, Arizona, originally from Puyallup, Washington. Brightsman. And there goes Tyler King and Dan Lowther. Brightsman on the outside. All this going on as they work their way down into 4.
And down back into
45
one now.
laps to go. Sorry about that.
You see Tyler King, he's trying to go down to the bottom right here, trying to wrap that bottom again, picking up another spot, or rather, actually, that is for position to 63, nearly into the wall off turn number 2, so it looks like the 46, he's going to try to get a piece of the Dan Lauder machine there off turn number 2, gets into 3 and 4, and now back down the front straightaway, nearly made contact. They remain side by side back in a 1.
Wrightsman on the bottom, going after Lowther. This is the opportunity to move to 8th. Tyler King up ahead in 7. Troy Daggett watching along with the 99. That's your top 10. Drivers in blue. Round of 8 playoff contenders. All 8s present in the top 11. Who will get the first green bar of the night to advance to Auto Club? Right now, Dan West Jr. is the man. But Jason, I'm telling you, as we go back up to the front of the leaders, Ryan Gormley in that red 22. He's right there in his sights. He's been that way all night.
Yeah, and he hasn't really obviously been able to make so we call a move on this 55. He's tried, just hasn't gotten there. And on that later part of the last run, obviously, before the yellow came out, he really fell off. Jeff Stabnow was able to pass him. But if you look at it, too, the 22 and the 24 are still fast compared to the 55. I mean, you look at the lap times. The 22 was faster that last time around by half a tenth. Jeff Stabnow was a little bit slower than the leader, but still, he has a fast car, had a faster car on that long run. So maybe we'll see here with obviously, a handful of laps to go. Who has the better car? Will it be the 55? Will it be the 22? Yeah. Will it be the 24? We're going to have to find out.
Great pages of racing history soon to be written to decide who will be going into season 4 if the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series. And Jason, this was a series that honestly, it hasn't ran in a while for the Northwest program. If you remember, obviously, the last time this series was operated, it was in 2019, season 3. It's been a while.
Yeah, and it's really cool, obviously, to be here and everything like that, with Iowa, especially for this series. I think it's really cool to see everybody running out here. And like we talked about earlier in the broadcast, Wesley, I am very excited to see this track come back for, obviously the touring series next year and for the first inaugural and Dayton Cup series here. I think they should put on a show. Right. They're always good to race here at Iowa.
Iowa Speedway, the NASCAR Cup Series will be at Iowa Speedway. That race is scheduled for 2024, as we so hinted on. Everybody will be looking forward to that one. And the IndyCar double be coming back again as well, and making our own history with the Northwest Series here tonight, no doubt, at the virtual Iowa Speedway. All this going on as we see Newton King, Wrightsman, 6th, 7th, and 8th on track, and closing in on under 35 laps to go, Jason. And again, Dan West Jr., Gormley, Stabnow, Smith, White, top 5. We're watching everything happen in the back behind them, but Ryan Gormley, Jason, reeling in the 55. Not done yet.
Yeah, not done yet, but we're going to see if he can hold out here for these last few laps, maybe to see if he can make a move on this 55 machine. We're about to find out, but obviously look at this leaderboard right here. You see everybody, all the playoff guys in the top 8, minus Ryan Bloom there in 12. If you're all those playoff guys that are near each other, you want to fight for every position. If you're Paul Newton, Tyler King, Sean Wrightsman, who are nose to tail right now, basically, you have to fight for position at the end of this race, because you making the championship 4 could all be by 1 point over one of those guys if you're competing heading into Las Vegas in a couple weeks.
Ryan Gormley still within a quarter of a second, over a quarter of a second back. Jeff Stabnow And Jason, here you go again. Here's a guy like Jeff Stabnow. We mentioned him. Number 7 seed. 1 win this year for Jeff Stabnow. That's been it when he won at Kansas. Kind of similar to Iowa. 1.5 miles back in April. But it's been consistent finishes along the rest of the season for the number 24. Might not be a win, but Jason, he's been consistent all the way up to the championship 4-round opener tonight. And that's what you got to do if you can't get a win.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's the thing, you know, consistency is key. And everybody wants to talk about, obviously, the fact is, oh, you know, these drivers, or you know, just because of this playoff format being implemented in 2014 for the NASCAR Cup Series now has adopted itself into the Truck Series, into the Xfinity Series, and obviously all over the iRacing platform for NASCAR sanctioned, you know, divisions, leagues and whatnot, like Northwest Series here and Division. You don't have to necessarily win. You just have to be consistent. Look at Matt Crafton all the way in the late 2010s. He was able to win a Truck Series championship, didn't win a race all year long, but went to Homestead and was able to pick up that championship purely by being consistent and by being the highest finishing round of 4 driver in that race.
Think of a driver like the retired Mark Martin, and they always called him Mr. Consistency because he might not have won a lot of races in the Cup Series back in the day, but when it counted the most, he was right there consistent to put himself in the catbird seat to be competitive towards championships. 147 of 175 laps. We are on the home stretch. And Jason, as we mentioned, by the way, my friend, this is that long green flag run that we chatted about. And again, the question you were asking, could we see green flag pit stops, or is track position pivotal for that final 70 laps to go to the finish here where they last pitted? The leaders did on lap 105.
Yeah, I just don't know. Some of these guys obviously still have one set of sticker tires laying back behind the wall. So we're going to have to see. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm almost positive that they can make it the distance on fuel. But like I said, tires are one thing. They're going to heat up quickly here from the last time they pitted back on lap 105. And we've gone nearly 50 laps here.
There's Chris White in the top 5. Paul Newton. Jason, there's another driver, by the way. Paul Newton just being consistent. Having a good run for the guy we normally call the road course king.
Yeah, and he came in obviously 3rd here in the playoff picture. He's had 1 win earlier this year. He's got 9 top 5s, 15 top 10s, the most out of anybody all year long, out of all the races he's made here. Obviously, you look at it, he has only not finished outside, he has only finished outside the top 10 3 times out of the 18 races he has ran this year. That was very impressive for that number 27 machine, to say the least here. He's got more top 10s, obviously, than Brightsman, more top 10s than DWJ. Very consistent. It would not surprise me if we see this 27 end up in Auto Club with a chance to win the championship and possibly go on to win that title.
By the way, somebody was messaging me and they said, hey, when is the race in Iowa? June 14th, 15th, and 16th. The ARCA Menard Series will be at Iowa. And then, of course, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, June 15th. The Cup Series race will be at Iowa, June 16th. So, yeah. If that's in your area, make your plans for next year. And, of course, the virtual Iowa race is going on to the final 25, under 25 laps to go now, Jason. And here comes Ritters. Ritters trying to get around Dan Lowther. This is for the top 10.
Yeah, Ritter's trying to get around Lowther right now. Just can't exactly do it. Off turn number 2, he's trying to make the runs, and Toby's had a consistent night, kind of, obviously, despite the 2 incidents he's had here tonight, and then the 1 incredible save really, if you want to think about it, 3 incredible saves that he's had tonight. So, you know how they always do, Wesley, Reese's Sweet Move of the Race for the Arden Series? You could probably give one of those Reese's Sweet Move of the Race awards probably to this 23 machine for 3 of his saves tonight. It's been impressive to watch that 23 machine be able to save it not once, not twice, but 3 times there for that Cliff of the Big Red Dog. CLICKIT RV Chevy Camaro as he tries to run down Dan Lowther for a top 10 position.
Laps to go. Approaching the top of the hour. We'll pause 10 seconds. Radio identification. The finish from Iowa. CRN on deck when we come back for the playoffs.
Community Radio Network. WCRN 87.9 FM. Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
18 laps to go. Welcome back. Jason Rockefeller, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten alongside the finish tonight to find out the opening story of who will punch their ticket in to the first driver's chance at the championship for 2-time Truck Series champion, Dan West Jr. He won it in 2020 and 2021, leading the cavalry from Shelton, Washington. Ryan Gormley. And Jason, here's the deal. If he doesn't win, Gormley, though, could make a big climb up the points ladder from the number 6 seed.
Yeah, and that would be huge there for Ryan Gormley because, like we talked about, he's been consistent all year long. He has what it takes. It's just, what can he do with the consistency? Can he make it to that Final Four, being one of those drivers in the Final Four? He got that one win earlier this year back at Charlotte, and he's been pretty consistent this year too, just like all those guys up in the top 8. That's why they're the best 8 drivers. What can Ryan Gormley do here these next 3 races? If he wants to make it to Auto Club, I think he has to have a top 3 to top 5 run every single week from here on out.
Because we might see again, Jason, somebody like Dan West Jr. Or like we saw with Sean Brightsman in the first round of the round of 12, where he repetitively won. Drivers besides Dan West Jr. in the lead now, that nobody else got in except by points, by positions, by climbing the ladder, doing it that way. And it could possibly come to fruition and decide the final 2 races coming up next week in Kentucky, the penultimate race in Vegas, to try to make it into the Final Four. He might have to do it by points.
Yeah, and you know something, Wesley, that's something we talked about a couple nights ago. Remember, I joined you for the CLICKIT RV Truck Series, and we talked about that too. We talk about how it's grind time in the playoffs and in the regular season, towards the end of the regular season, towards the postseason. But no, man, this is the grind time if you're a driver in the playoffs. Remaining in the round of 8 is the double zero. Manley cuts off Chris White entering 1 and 2. That could have been a huge shakeup in tonight's race. They keep it going, though. All the meanwhile, like I was saying, you have to perform in this round of 8. Steve Letarte and everybody on NBC have been saying here in the playoffs, in this round of 8 that started a couple weeks ago, you are not going to make the championship 4 if you are finishing outside the top 5. You need to finish higher in the standing, or not higher in the standings, but higher in the running order week in and week out for these 3 races. Like if you're Ryan Gormley, maybe he doesn't win tonight, doesn't win next week, or doesn't win Las Vegas, but if he can nab a top 3 to top 5 finish for these next 3 weeks, he is probably going to be sitting pretty entering California with a chance to go to the championship.
And Jason, tires don't matter, track position does. 10 laps to go. And there's this three-car tandem battle going on between Smith, Brightsman. White, 3 wide. Oh! Contact! Oh, White to the driver door. Smith now reels in Brightsman. He went for a bonsai move and came out smelling like a red rose. Wow.
Oh my goodness. That was interesting right there off turn number 4. Yeah, that was interesting. I thought they were going to hook each other. They were going to wreck. Oh, and Gary Nichols nearly gets into the 47. That could have been interesting, and things are getting spicy here with 8 laps to go. Still the opportunity for a yellow flag with the battle we have going on the racetrack. The question is, will we see it?
Everybody gets back single file. Sean Brightsman says, get away from me, Chris White. But listen, there's the desperate moves that you're going to have to make, Jason, to try to put yourself in contention. And Chris White, and I bet you Sean Brightsman knows it, that's number 5 and number 2 seed going at it. Meanwhile, pick up the leaders. Can we go to a double battle box? We can at least watch that and still show you the leaders. Dan West Jr. lead is a 1 1/4 second, 1.4 seconds, I meant to say. As we at least pick up, yeah, can't pick up. Ryan Gormley is losing ground on Dan West Jr. Jason, he went into stealth mode.
Yeah, he definitely went into stealth mode there, and he decided to creep away. And that's just been pretty much all that Dan West Jr. has wrote here this second half of the season once we returned from our summer break. Obviously nabbing 4 race wins from the break to now. It has been insane for Dan West Jr. And he's looking to make 5 wins up on the board here. He needs to hang on for 5 more laps as everybody trying to battle all over the place. Every position matters for these playoff guys. As you see Newton trying to get around Smith, entering 3 and 4. He's going to get tight. There might be contact. He's going to save it, though. Off turn number 4, Newton slides back in line behind Smith.
All of this is about positions gained, positions earned, and fighting for it to put yourself higher in the scoring tally. And yes, sir, you might have to take it away like a kid on Halloween night. Trick or treat, not for you. I'm going to get all this candy and spoil it too. Just like Chris White trying to reel in Brightsman. And there's that battle we mentioned. Number 5 seed, number 2 seed, going at it again. 3 to go. And remember, Jason, if we get a late race caution, we will go into overtime. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if we see this crazy, frantic racing like we've been watching since lap 105, it's a possibility. 2 to go at the stripe.
And 2 to go for Dan West Jr., and he's just hoping to see that white flag here. He's got half a lap to do it. He's just got to hang on, man. It's just been, what a second half of the year for DWJ. Can't stress it enough. He's been so fast. Got 4 wins already. Making a look at 5 white flags in the air. 1 lap to go for DWJ. Headed through 1 and 2. Wesley looking to punch his ticket into the championship for a win at California.
He's got chicken on the brain. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Win number 5 now for Dan West Jr. And yes, you're right. Championship 4 punched in for driver 1 in P1 in the points in the race. Dan West Jr., you're going to Auto Club to race for the title in November.
Well, I hope he's got
dinner.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I tried to say. That's what I tried to say. Well, hopefully they got chicken in Victory Lane here, but they might have corn instead since we're in the Iowa cornfields. What a job, though, by Dan West Jr. Such a dominant performance. And Wesley, I don't think he didn't not lead. Or not, let me rephrase that. I believe he led every single lap here tonight. That is a huge statement out of the 50. He did. Holy cow, that is amazing.
All 175 laps led by Dan West Jr. No lead changes. And Dan West Jr., most importantly, in addition to his 5th win this year, 3rd playoff win, he has punched his ticket second playoff win. He has punched his ticket in. Whoa, my! Northwest.
Oh my God!
Salute, Britters!
Oh, Clifford's going to the hospital.
Listen, if you tuned in Monday, they were kind of like at a snail's pace whenever the high five salute was supposed to happen. So they're giving us a definitely double dose of excitement tonight in their virtual demo derby.
Yeah, I hope Clifford's okay because he just had a wild ride to save for the 47 of Chris White there. Those were both hilarious hits.
Jason, I wish one night for the Northwest Series we had like an all-star race, like with crazy shenanigans or whatever, but we had like a 40-car demolition derby. You got to race around the track, but you got to wreck people. Okay, this is the deal. You got to wreck each other, and like let's say the last 10 meet on the front straightaway from turn 4 to turn 1, and you just knock the hell out of one another. Okay, just tear your cars all to pieces. Whoever's the last car moving is the man that wins.
All right,
wouldn't that be cool if we done something like that?
Oh man.
Let's take a look at the results. I guess people don't agree with me. I don't know. I think it'd be a great idea. I was like, oh. Dan West Jr. is the winner. Led all the Jason, I think that's a record tonight. First time this year, maybe in a while. He led everybody led. He's the only driver that led every lap of the race. Brian Gormley second. Valiant efforts made, but come up short. Jeff Stab now, another consistent run. Jason having problems, rallies back. He's in the podium. He needed to have that being the number 7 seed in the playoffs. Christopher White as well, 5th. Kevin Smith, Paul Newton, Tyler King, Troy Daggett, Toby Ritters. Hope you feel better, buddy. Clifford had a good solid top 10, Jason.
Yeah, that was awesome to see for those guys for sure. Top 20, or rather rest of the field. Frank Harris comes home P11 in that 11th machine. Ryan Bloom going to need to do some work here these next 2 weeks. He comes home 12th. Dan Loudon, Stephen Paulson, Nichols, Brett Johnson having a couple hard hits here tonight. Stephen Bartlett, Josh Marcy, Seth Frazier, Carl Burke, top 20. And then the rest of the field, you have James Vining, Scott Hutchinson. They both did not make a lap here tonight. That is your unofficial race results here at Iowa.
One more look at the Virginia811.com Dig with Care race summary. 4 cautions. That last, obviously, 70-lap green flag run stretch of the event. 18 caution laps in total. There's the big one. 0 goose egg. For 175 laps, one driver led them all. Dan West Jr. We'll be back. Press Box Motorsports podcast post-race wrap-up. Say that 3 times fast. Coming up, iRacing, LSRTV, and CRN. Dan West Jr. on to Auto Club in the Championship 4. We welcome you back. Coverage, playoffs, round of 8, Northwest CLICKIT RV Fix Setup Series. I'm Wesley Outland, Jason Rockefeller alongside, and we are going to grab the top 3. What a good night. Jeff Stabnow, man, I say this all the time. Consistency is what you do. You're the Mark Martin of the Northwest. Another solid run, another good effort for that one win you had this year back at Kansas. This track very similar to Kansas, am I right? But you have another good run here, and you finish third. Obviously doing what you need to do to climb the ladder towards a run to the championship 4.
Yeah, I don't know. Iowa's always been a pretty good track for me. I love the progressive banking, the different lines, right? Play around, find a groove that works for a while, move up, find another one, move back down. Thought I was really good on old tires. I just didn't fire off as fast as everybody else. So, when I got up front there on those last couple of restarts, I had to use a lot of tire up just on those restarts to try to hold off the faster guys. I knew I probably had them beat on older tires, but that last restart kind of killed me there. But, happy to have third place, man.
And Jeff, obviously, congratulations on finishing P3 here tonight. And you came into the points tonight, obviously, in that 7th seed. How do you feel like your chances are with the consistency here tonight to go into Kentucky, into Vegas, and have a shot heading into this Final Four?
Yeah, I think I need to win. Starting a little bit behind here, obviously, on the win bonuses. I suppose I could top 3 it in, but I think I feel a lot more comfortable getting a win. Thought maybe I had a shot tonight if we could have stayed green. Kansas is another pretty good track for me. That's where we got to win last year in the playoffs. So maybe there's a shot there at Kansas. So got those. These were kind of the 2 I had circled here was Iowa and Kentucky. So didn't get it done tonight. Hopefully we can get something done there to Kentucky next week.
Jeff, there was a time in the race where literally on the restart, as a matter of fact, after the most recent caution, number 4 with 70 laps to go, you and Dan West Jr. side by side, and I uttered the statement that they're teammates, but you've reached the end of the rainbow here except making the championship 4. Dan wants to win it. Jeff wants to win it. Am I right in saying that even though you're teammates, you need to do what you're going to do, what you got to do to win, for sure?
You know what? There isn't a guy on our team that would let one of the other guys win. You win on our team, you're going to earn it. We got some super competitive guys, and none of us. I wouldn't want it any other way, right? I'd be kind of upset there if somebody gave it to me, and I know Dan and Sean, they'd be just fit to be tied to if somebody lifted a little bit and gave them something. So. No team orders. You don't have to worry about that here. If one of us beats another teammate, it was earned.
Hey, final question. Segue this into thanking your sponsors, Jeff. What's your take of this Northwest Fix Setup Series? Bringing it back since 2019, and obviously it's been really exciting for Wednesday nights for sure.
Yeah, I've always it's kind of funny, man. I've always loved the Open Series better. But I got 2 championships in the Fix Series and none in the Open setup. So. I suppose for me it's been a little bit better, out of the 3 series seasons we've run to Xfinity. I got 2 of the championships. I'd really like to get, a 3rd one, but, dang, we just got some real good drivers in here anymore, man. It's so hard to go out there and get a win. Dan is, he's just on fire since we come back for the break. Sean will jump up and win anytime. And, we've seen what Ryan Bloom's been doing all year long. So, it's hard to get a win in here. But I think it's great. We get good turnout. It's a lot of fun. Thanks to Kevin there and CLICKIT RV for all the help that they've done for us this year. We probably wouldn't have the series that we have without the help from CLICKIT RV. So, as Sean said earlier, if anybody's looking for an RV, give them a call, man. They've been great to us. Obviously LSRTV, you guys are just fantastic, man. Love the broadcast, love the team, love all the work that Charles puts into it, love the way that you and Jason approach everything and the way you guys call the races. It's just a first-class broadcast, and it's an honor and a privilege to be on here every night racing against the best drivers in the Northwest on the best channel that covers iRacing. So thanks a lot, guys.
And if there's any more good news I can give you, Jeff, in that 3rd place podium finish, you have also climbed 3 spots into the championship playoff round of 8. you are now the number 4 seed. So that's got to be a little glimmer of trying to make it in by virtue of points if you can't get a W next week in Kentucky.
Hey, we'll take it on points if we can't get it, but boy, I'd sure feel a lot better just doing what Dan did tonight.
Jeff Stabnow, the 24 from Billings, Montana. He'll climb from the 7th coming into this race down to the number 4 spot in the championship standings now. Let's go to the runner-up of the race, Ryan Gormley. Ryan, you climbed 4 spots from 8th to now, or excuse me, from 6th to now 2nd. And you are, of course, a runner-up tonight at Iowa. So close to wanting to win this event, man. It just seemed like every time you started to get momentum on the 55, he was either playing possum or he had just not firing on all cylinders yet. He just sailed away from you, man. You're happy with 2nd, though. You got to be.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be. That's for sure. Dan ran a really perfect race. I only saw him get sideways really once, and I thought that was my opportunity to jump on him. But it's this track is definitely it's pretty slick. After a long run, it starts to get pretty loose, and he's really good at saving his tires.
Yeah, and Ryan, obviously you came home 2nd here tonight, man. And you had a good run. You were outside looking in, obviously coming in tonight in the playoffs. And I guess I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Jeff is, you go into Kentucky and Vegas these next 2 weekends. With the consistency you showed tonight, how do you feel like your chances are at making the Final Four?
Well, like Jeff said, it would have been nice to get a win. I was first loser. But, I feel like Kentucky's going to be a good track for me. Being able to save those tires, though, not relying on yellow flags and restarts and fresh tires all the time. So trying to be as consistent as I can and try to just be fast.
Ryan, obviously, again, just like Jeff Stabnow, we mentioned him. You climb by virtue of a consistent drive to now move to the number 2 spot. Is there any type of a cushion or hope there knowing, hey, listen, I'm the number 2 seed now, so as long as I can be consistent, play my cards right, stay in the cusp of the top 4, if somebody else wins or they don't win by virtue of someone being in the playoff round of 8, we saw it with Dennis Moore. We saw it with Sean Brightsman in the round of 12, where, nobody else got in. They ran the table. Could we see that being consistent be the key to get you as a rookie into the championship Ford Auto Club?
Oh, I sure hope so. I think it definitely makes the going into Kentucky a little bit better of a cushion, and just focus on getting a top 5. If I have the opportunity to win, I'm gonna go for it. So it's anybody's race, but just try to stay out of trouble. You never know.
Well, listen, we'll let you go. Thank your sponsors, Ryan.
Yeah, well, LSRTV, you guys are awesome. I love watching the broadcast after our race, and sharing those links. Everybody needs to share the broadcast to their friends and family. So, and also CLICKIT RV, we can have this series without them. So,
yes.
If I'm ever in the market for a camper, I think that's probably a place I'll shop. And so that and Wrestler Motors, that's where I work. So anybody looking for a vehicle, new or used, I can help them out. Thank you.
There you go. The prodigy, as I call him, winner back at Charlotte in May. The number 22, of course, of Ryan Gormley. And the TRD Red Machine has moved from, of course, from the 6th spot now to position number 2. Dan West Jr., P1 coming into the race. He now has the most wins of anybody at 5. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, as Jason was saying, with 3 poles, 10 top 5s. 13 top 10s. He is advanced to the championship 4 finale at Auto Club automatically with this win. And Dan West Jr., I think if I'm keeping my stats correctly, you're the first driver this year to lead every lap of a race from lap 0 to lap 175 here at Iowa. I know it wasn't easy. Congratulations to you. The 55 is going to the championship in a few weeks at Auto Club.
Yeah, what a relief that is, Wesley. Ryan didn't make it easy. I mean, to be able to lead every lap was definitely not easy. He was pushing all from the fresh tires all the way to the wore out tires. So I didn't want to push that hard in the beginning, but I didn't want to give up the clean air either. So I think Ryan would have been a handful if he would have got around me. I just felt like I had the preferred lane, and I definitely had to stay in that lane and protect that, and you know, kind of run it to the edge to the point of saving the tire, but not abusing it too much. So.
Yeah, and Dan, congratulations on your 5th win of the season. And now that you're locked in here to the Championship 4, you have, you know, Kentucky and Vegas, but you don't have to worry about those. Do you set your mindset fully heading into California in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I like California, so, and I like Vegas. It's coming up. I mean, I'm looking forward to Vegas, Kentucky. Those are some fun tracks that are coming up. So, my mindset is just go in and try to keep this momentum going. And at the end of the day, man, I mean, we're all here to have fun. It's just an awesome group of people. The competition is incredible. You know, look at Jeff. I mean, he had a hell of a run up there. Deshaun had a hell of a run coming from the back. And Ryan Gormley was I think he was on fire tonight. So I just felt fortunate to be able to hold on there, and I felt like he ran me really clean when he was underneath me.
That moment, and I asked Jeff this question as well, I'll ask you, that moment whenever he was right there alongside of you, does teammates go out the window, obviously, when you're looking to try to win a race of this magnitude, to be at the cusp of running for a championship, Dan?
I think to say it goes out the window, I don't think is right. But I'm not giving anything like Jeff was saying before. I'm out there to win, right? I mean, but I would probably drive him a little bit different than anybody else, you know, just because he is a teammate. Give him a little bit more room. Not that I'm going to try to take anybody out, but it's, you know what I mean. It's but I'm there to win. If I can win it, I definitely will.
Well, you have moved in to the championship race. Got to ask you this question, and listen, we've known each other for a number of years. You have put yourself in championship condition before, 2020, 2021, defending two-time in a row Truck Series champion. Obviously, I know these cars are different, but what's the mindset for Dan West Jr. going in now to the rest of the playoffs? Do you, if you mind, say, don't worry about Kentucky, don't worry about Vegas, or do you basically get as much R&D as you can to get these cars ready for the finale at Auto Club?
Oh, Wesley, I think like I say, you just got to keep that momentum going. I mean, I'm not going to lift at all. I mean, obviously I'm going to probably give more room because I don't have to push the car as much. So I don't need that win, but I'm definitely going to go out there for more wins. I mean, that's definitely why we're here. So it's a blast being out here with these guys. So I'd like to be up front.
Sponsors, brother.
LSRTV, Wesley, Jason, appreciate you guys, everything you guys do, being here each night, putting on this awesome broadcast. CRN Sports, Effective Web Solution. My teammates, appreciate all they do. They just give a lot of support on the radio and the practice time and whatnot. CLICKIT RV, appreciate everything they do, man.
Dan West Jr., in addition to picking up another win to make it win number 5, he is now in 17 events, have 10 top 5s, 13 top 10s of 18 races in the schedule, and he is the first driver in P1 to advance to the Championship 4 mid-November at Auto Club Speedway. Jason Rockefeller, your final take on tonight at Iowa. Surely this one did not disappoint to open up the round of 8. We're down to 3 races left. Of course, next week, Kentucky, New Hampshire for the Northwest Truck Series. The playoffs, the running to a crown of a champion continues. Dennis Moore locked in already in the trucks on Monday, and now Dan West Jr. does it on the Wednesday night fixed series. Your take of this race. Again, I think the way we came on here talking about precision banking, the craziness, the cautions if it happens, the long green flag runs, all of this led up to the car to being a very entertaining show.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it, Wesley. And obviously, congratulations to DWJ on locking himself into that championship 4. What a race, though. I mean, from start to finish, we had a lot of playoff drama, and I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of that at Kentucky and Vegas. But wow, what a race tonight. I'm looking forward to these next 2 races.
Yeah, final 2 races in the CLICKIT RV round of 8 fixed series is, of course, Iowa Speedway done. Dan West Jr. getting in wind. Kentucky Speedway next week. Penultimate race of the season, Las Vegas. Final chance to punch your ticket in. Like they'll be going at Martinsville this week to punch into the NASCAR Championship 4 playoffs for Phoenix. The same will be done for us on November 8th to make it to Auto Club November 15th. And if you don't do it by virtual wins, you got to hope by consistency, Jason. You climb up the ladder. Some guys climbed, like Ryan Gormley 4, Sean Brightsman, Jeff Stabnow 3. Other drivers fell back. Correction, Sean Brightsman fell back 1 spot. Paul Newton and Tyler King. And Ryan Bloom, by the way, on the bubble in 8th.
Yeah, and that should be fun to say the least, obviously. You know, a big shakeup in the points, obviously, when we head into these next few races. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Been a fun one for sure. Enjoy the rest of your week, by the way. Keep praying for everybody in Maine. Keep praying for Israel. Keep praying for our world, our country, and the US of A in general. Thank you so much for joining us on behalf of everybody at Rocket Racing Media, CLICKIT RV, of course, LSRTV, CRN, Jeff Stabnow, Sean Brightsman, producer, director, Charles Wooten, Jason Rockefeller. This is Wesley Outland. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week again. We're back on Monday, New Hampshire and Kentucky next Wednesday. Be good to one another. Dan West Jr., winner, winner, chicken dinner. He's in the championship 4 at Auto Club coming up in sunny California in November. Enjoy.